I'm gonna be honest here, I'm a little bit nervous. Let's just hit pitch and see what happens. For small artists and small producers like me, getting onto Spotify editorial playlists is like winning the lottery.
Dude.
Minus, the millions of dollars. But you can go from 52 streams to 52,000 streams or more by landing on one of these playlists. And that's because when you search on Spotify, these playlists are usually what show up at the top of the list. So that's what most people listen to. So in this video, I'll not only show you how to pitch the Spotify playlists, but I'll also pitch one of my own songs for the first time. I'm excited. I'm a little nervous about it, but by the end of this video, you'll find out and I'll find out if I made it onto a playlist or not. The first thing you need to do is set up your Spotify for Artists page if you haven't done that already, and then you could upload your music through your music distributor. Now, once you do that, you're gonna have to wait for that song to show up on your Spotify for Artists page. Now, I use DistroKid, and it usually takes only about a day or two for that song to show up. Now, I get it. I understand the irony of listening to somebody who hasn't actually pitched to Spotify before. I've watched a bunch of videos and read a bunch of articles and gone through a lot of Reddit threads about this. But you could take this information with a grain of salt if you want to. But here's some information that I found really helpful. Now, first, you could only pitch one song at a time. So if you're releasing an album, you could only pick one song from that album to pitch to Spotify. Now, once that is released, you could then pitch another song. Now, second, and to follow up on the first one, you could only pitch unreleased songs. So that track that you released last week, you can't pitch that to Spotify. You can try getting it onto user-generated playlists, which is a completely different beast, but honestly, it's something that I should try. And third, you want to pitch your song 3 to 4 weeks in advance of your release date. Now, apparently this is because this will give the Spotify editorial team enough time to actually listen to your song. And that makes sense. Apparently 100,000 songs are released onto Spotify every day. So even if a fraction of those songs are pitched to Spotify, that's still a crap load of music to go through. Now, to be able to set a release date, you're gonna have to do that when you upload your music through your music distributor. Now, like I said earlier, I use DistroKid to release my music. I'm not sponsored by them or anything like that, but I do use them to release my music to Spotify and Apple Music and everywhere else. So with DistroKid, there are 3 plans to choose from, and to be able to set a release date, you're gonna need the Musician Plus plan, which is what I have. And hey, if you do want to sign up for DistroKid, I got a link below that will save you 7%. I'll get a tiny little cut out of it that will help out the channel. You save 7%. Win-win for everybody. All right, so let's get to pitching that song on Spotify. So sign in on your Spotify for Artists page, click on the music section, and under the upcoming tab is where you'll see your unreleased music. Here's a song that I want to pitch. Click on pitch a song. All right, it'll ask you where you're from. I'm from Toronto, Canada. On this page is where you select the genre, the mood, and style of the song, and what instruments you use on a track. Now, everything on this page is dependent on your track, so just fill it in accordingly. And once you're done, hit next. Okay, so this is the money page. This is where you describe and actually pitch your song. All right, so I'm gonna fill this in. I'm probably gonna fast forward through this. I'm pretty sure you don't wanna watch me type, but I'll read it out afterwards. All right. One little tip that I wanted to share is that you could actually expand the window here by dragging this corner out. Thought that might be useful. It was useful for me. All right, so this is my write-up. Through the City is a head-bobbing lo-fi hip-hop track with that perfect chill vibe for late-night drives around the city. It would be a great fit on the lo-fi beats, chill hop, and boom-bap focused Spotify playlists. The song will be marketed on my social media channels along with a making-of video on YouTube, pushing viewers to listen on Spotify. As a growing artist, starting the year of 2024 on a Spotify editorial playlist would be a giant milestone in my career. All right, so that's what I got. I based my write-up on what I've seen other people do. So if it worked for them, maybe it'll work for me. So let me just break this down a little bit. I briefly described the song in more detail and how it makes you feel. I also listed out which playlists I think the song would fit on. So do some research, go on Spotify and listen to the playlist made by Spotify. And you'll know it's made by Spotify when it says by Spotify underneath the title. To be honest, I don't know how helpful this is. I mean, I would think that the Spotify curators would know better than me on where, the track could possibly go. But, again, I've seen other people do this. It worked for them. Just give it a try, I guess. All right, so I included this section about how I will be promoting the song myself. That's what Spotify wants to see. They want to see that you're bringing people to the platform. And at the end here, I wrote about how it would be a great opportunity for me as a growing artist. I figured that a real human being will be reading this. So, how can I connect with that person on a human level, on an emotional level? I don't know. I was kind of going back and forth about this, whether it's, too corny or whatever. I don't know. I don't want anybody's sympathy or, anything like that. But I don't know. It's just how I feel right now. So, I'm just going to leave it in. All right. So I'm just going to hit next here. Okay, so then you just review everything that you put down. And it looks like that's it. And I'm gonna be honest here. I'm a little bit nervous. First time jitters or whatever. But let's just hit pitch and see what happens. All right, good luck, little guy. So now we wait. From my understanding, I'm going to find out on the day of release whether I get onto a playlist or not. I've also read that you could potentially get an email beforehand if you do get on. But I guess we'll just wait and see. And I don't want to get too excited, just in case it doesn't happen. But, I'm also excited at the idea of getting onto a playlist. But, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. Just move on, go to the next track. But it would be real nice to get onto a playlist. So we'll see. So it's January 5th today. It's the day that my new song releases. And I wanted to quickly run down to the computer and see if it made it onto a playlist. That's why my hair's a mess and I'm looking all crusty and whatnot, but I wanted to, I was excited to see if I made it on. And I checked my email, I checked my Spotify for playlist, and it looks like I didn't make it on, it's all good. I'm going to be real with you. I'm a bit disappointed, but it's the first time I tried pitching a song to Spotify playlist. So, this was probably the expected outcome. But, like I said before, I'm not going to let this stop me from making more music, from enjoying the process. And just on to the next one. So what did I do wrong? Why didn't I get onto any of the playlists? There's no feedback from Spotify or anything like that. So, I'll never really know. It could be that, they didn't like my music. Could be that they didn't like my pitch. I'll never really know. But I think for me, just thinking about it, I think that there are two things. So for one, in my pitch itself, I said that I was going to promote the song to help generate pre-saves and whatnot and bring people to Spotify. Because ultimately, that's what they want. They want to see that you are bringing people to Spotify. And I had all this content that I had planned that I was going to release. Didn't do any of that. It was the Christmas holidays and whatnot, so I didn't get around to it. But that's 100% on me. But if I was somebody from Spotify and I went on to Tarosa's Instagram page and saw nothing about it, and I'm sure they have analytics that they on their end that they could see what I'm what kind of traffic I'm generating to Spotify. Pre-saves and all that stuff. They could see all of that, I'm sure. And if they saw nothing, then, that's a wrap right there. I mean, that's what I would do. And second, just to be real with myself, I am a small fish in the Spotify ocean, all right? I'm what the small fish eats for snack, all right? I got less than 100 followers on Spotify. Right now, I ain't bringing much to the table. So, on their end, they're going to see that and be like, yeah, maybe not. Maybe not this time. And there are conspiracy theories that, the major labels are paying off Spotify to get their people onto these playlists. Look, that stuff I can't control. I don't know anything about that. What I do know is that I will keep making music. I will try to make better music. And yeah, it's just on to the next one. And speaking of next one, if you want to learn how to make better music, oh, what a crazy segue, eh? um, if you want to learn how to make better music, you can check out this video over here, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.